All right, Chris Hall here for Dogs on Demand on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and soon on radio. And it's good to have you with us today on our podcast. And hey, we are so happy to have Ray Fulcher with us. Now, Ray, it looks like I don't know, Ray, you look like a wide receiver. I'm
Huh,
sure you've caught some footballs in your past, but
I
listen,
did.
you're a country music star, songwriter, performer from Harlem, Georgia, up around the Augusta area. And but you're a big Bulldog fan. You're a great country music star. You're a big Bulldog fan. So thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk a little country music and we're going to talk a little Georgia football. So thank you for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Anytime I get to talk about the Dogs is a good day. And I just appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to come on here and talk a little bit. So,
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your country music career. Now, from the outside looking in at your career, I would say, you're on the rise. You're a rising, I guess it would be characterized as a rising star. You're on tour now with Luke Combs, I understand, Ashley McBride. You've played the Grand Ole Opry, Madison Square Garden up in Chicago and all that kind of thing. So
all right.
tell me about your country music standing now. What's going on in your life as a country music performer?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to be thankful for that. And you just name some of that stuff. It's pretty awesome to think that it's happened. And actually, as we're speaking right this moment, um, a song that I wrote with Luke Combs went #1 on the country music radio chart today. So I
Wow.
have a dream come true. This is my fifth one, but they all feel like, I mean, I never dreamed I'd have one. So very thankful for that. The song's called Going, Going, Gone. But yeah, I'm writing a bunch for myself and other people. And I have a record deal at Black River Entertainment. And really excited about the music we're putting out this year. I think it's just the most, authentic stuff I think I've ever put out, and I'm really excited about what it's going to do for us, and then kind of take it from there. But thankful for what has transpired so far, and have a lot to be. I'm blessed in a lot of ways. So
Yeah. I got to ask you a personal question. I've tried my hand at writing a song. Okay. And I sat down and I said, okay, these guys write these songs and they communicate so wonderfully and so beautifully. So when I start to write a song, I get as far as the first word, and
right.
that's it.
That's,
So tell me, is there a secret to writing a song? I mean, does this come from your heart? Does it come from experience? How do you sit down and write a #1 country song that's sung by Luke Combs? And how do you just tell me, how do you do that?
yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it is repetition, like anything. It's like a golf swing. It's like, you know, a football play or whatever. I think repetition is so much of it. The first 100 songs you write are going to be bad, usually for the most part, unless you're, you know, some, kind of person that's just automatically was born genius in songwriting. But it's usually for me, it's pulled from experiences, but also pulled from your heart and what you're kind of going on in your life right now. But we write so much that if you relied on just that, you run out of stuff. So I had to find a way to get good at writing songs that were equally, I guess, to the same level as if I'm super inspired about something. Because you're not inspired every single day when you wake up to go write songs, but that's part of your job. You go and you find a way to do it. And so just finding it's not even always about, most of the time it isn't about me or anything I've been through. It's sometimes we're making up a story. Sometimes it's something that your buddy said that made you think about this thing. And it comes from all different ways of life. And I do think that we're all given certain gifts. And I think that, it's sometimes I just go, I don't really even know how. I couldn't even tell you how to do it. I just sit down and start going. And next thing you know, it comes out kind of right. So I don't always get it right, but I like to think that the good Lord gives us gifts, and I'm trying to use one of mine to the best of my ability.
Well, obviously you are using your God-given talent in a wonderful way. And I tell you, I gotta be honest with you now. My favorite song of all the songs you've written and performed is "Love You Son, Go Dogs." I
Mhm.
mean, you know, and if with your permission, we'll play that as a part of our podcast today. But "Love You Son, Go Dogs." Now, it's a great song. It's about your dad, you know, and a phone call and that kind of thing. Tell me about that song. How did that song come about, and what does it mean to you?
You know, that song is really special. I think, you know, for me, it's my dad, especially in uh, the fall, talking about two things: the dogs and deer hunt. That's about it. And really, what I want it to be is, and for Dad and I, it's the dogs, right? But for everybody else, it's really just about that person that you share this special thing with. For me, it's my dad with Georgia Bulldogs, and so I thought there was something really neat there. It is about the dogs, but it's really more about that bond, and uh, and so I just thought there was a really neat way to kind of put that into words that hopefully people that even are not even dog fans could relate to. And I was wondering if that would be the case, and it seems like that it has been the case. But what's great is that Dog Nation has really, uh, has really kind of taken it and made it what it is, and really been the torchbearer for this song. And Dog Nation really seems to love it, so I'm very thankful for that. Um, but yeah, it's just about that kind of special bond you have with someone. And I know a lot of the Georgia fans have that same type thing with somebody in their family. So
It's just a great song. And speaking of Dog Nation, you've played a lot of tremendous venues. And in fact, I think you played at Appalachian State with Luke Combs, kind of a homecoming for Luke. By the way, have you converted Luke to being a UGA fan? How
I
you
have,
doing with that?
I have made him. I think they're like his second team now, which he went App State. Got to give them a pass. But the last two national championships, we've sat there together and watched, and he's been cheering for us pretty hard. So
Good. You keep working on him. Keep working. Yeah, I can understand loyalty to App State.
oh,
But keep working on him. Speaking, of Dog Nation, hey, we got to get you into Sanford Stadium. Wouldn't it be cool to play that venue in a concert, huh?
be awesome. Play that song at that venue would be pretty neat. That's what keeps you going, right? Those dreams and those kind of goals you set. So hopefully one day.
Now let's talk a little bit of UGA football. You actually now you have a SEC championship ring personally given to you, 2005 SEC championship ring, Sugar Bowl ring from the 2007 season because you are a graduate of the University of Georgia, student assistant, then graduate assistant with the Georgia football program. You're more than just a casual fan of the University of Georgia. You work with Mike Bobo, now the offensive coordinator, again, of course, again for the University of Georgia. And I understand, the scuttlebutt is that you actually taught Matthew Stafford how to be a quarterback. That may be a tiny exaggeration, but tell me your Bulldog story.
Yeah. So I worked for the football team from my whole undergraduate career, and then as a graduate student, and really for me, it's my dream was to be a football player at Georgia, and then that wasn't going to quite work out, and so I was like, well, maybe I can work for the team. And I'll never forget, I walked in the Butts-Mehre building, and they walked up to the football secretary at the time, Miss Tammy Mettenberger. I didn't know her at the time, but I said, hey, I don't know what's available or what's not available, but I'm here to work for the football team. Goes, so you just walked in and asked for a job with the football team? I go, I did. I don't know any other way to do it. And she goes, well, matter of fact, I got somebody that you could talk to. And at the time, it was the late Dave Allen was the equipment manager there at Georgia. And he walked by, and Tammy said, I got somebody for you to interview. And so next thing I know, I'm going down to the locker room, and we're in the equipment room, and next thing I know, he's like interviewing me, and I wasn't prepared for that. And next thing I know, I got the job. And so what it was, I started out as kind of a student manager, and then by my second year, I was kind of working with Bobo as his kind of right-hand man out there doing a lot of kind of running all the drills for the quarterbacks and stuff. And then stayed and was a graduate assistant. And it'll always be some of the best times of my life. And I did work with Stafford. I would love to be able to take credit for him throwing the ball the way he does, but I'm pretty sure he's cracked a rib or two of mine while we were during because I out there and be the part of what I did was kind of be the receiver during drills whenever when the receivers were off doing something else. And I'll never forget a little slant pass that stuck between my ribs one day. But no, it was some of the best times of my life. And some of the guys I worked with, it was kind of like a fraternity. It's in a sense that we still a lot of us keep in touch and went through a lot of that stuff together. And but yes, I do have an SEC championship ring. I have a Sugar Bowl ring and a Letterman's ring and all that. And I tell my mom and dad sometimes most people never get to live out one dream, and I've got to live two, which is something to be really thankful for and something to make sure that I don't take lightly. And so I will always look back on that time of my life with knowing that that's some of the best chapters of it. So,
wow. Well, what a story, to get a cracked rib from Matthew Stafford. That's cool. I'd keep that x-ray. If you got an x-ray, I'd keep that x-ray. Hey, and by the way, scuttlebutt is Stafford may be headed to the Falcons, but we'll just kind of keep an eye out on that. So what do you think now? For 40 years, Georgia was pining for that national championship, won it in 1980, a long drought in between national championships. Now we've won 2 in a row. And when your team wins, it's we. When they lose, that's them, But right. Here we are, for the University of Georgia, back-to-back national championships. Has that sunk into you, isn't that tremendous?
Just as you were saying it, I still was like, man, I almost feel like I got to pinch myself because for so long we were used to when I was going to school there and afterwards and even before, we're just used to the almost, right? Falling so short, and it felt like that was maybe our fate, and for now to be one of only one of only a handful or less teams the last 50 some odd years to go back to back is just, now you go down and talking about one of the best 2-year stretches in college football history. And so watching Kirby do this and watching the guys kind of rally together and watch them win some of the games in the way that they have, talking about, thinking about Alabama in the national championship last year, getting to avenge that loss. And then this year being at the Ohio State game, some of the ways that the guys have shown resilience, it's, for it to end in the ways that it has been just almost fitting to the way that Kirby's tried to build the program. It's one of them things where I don't know that I can ever ask the mighty sports gods for anything else. Again, they gave us these and so, man, what a time to be a dog though. And so again, perspective and gratitude. And I think you got to live in the moment right now because these days are not guaranteed. We're in the glory days, and so finding a way to kind of soak that up, I think is important.
It is important. And, I had recently talked with Rusty Manziel, who was with 247sports.com, and he's the Georgia sports writer for 247sports.com. And he made the comment, as good as these last 2 teams have been for the University of Georgia, it could be talent-wise, the team coming up in 2023 could even have more talent. It really is. These are the glory days, isn't it, for UGA? Yes. How much interaction do you have any kind of interaction with the coaching staff now at UGA or some of the guys?
Bobo and I still text some, and Bobo, he's pretty cool of him to do, but usually anytime I have a new song come out, he'll text me that he's listened to it and if he likes it and stuff, and which is pretty neat of him all these years later to kind of still follow my journey. There's a couple of the offensive analysts that I'm friends with that goes back a long time. A couple of the manager guys that are still there, I'm friends with. There's, 8 to 10 people within the program that I still keep in touch with here and there. And the athletic director, Josh Brooks was there when I he was there in a different role than he is now when I was there as a student assistant. So we still talk from time to time. And so, yeah, still have a great relationship with those guys and try to help, any way that I can with, anything that I could do from the country music side of stuff. I'm always looking for ways to help. So,
if this country music thing doesn't work out, maybe you could go to mayor building again and try to get a job. What
right.
do you say? You've got experience, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, listen, you're a great star. Luke Combs is, he's about as big as you get in country music these days. How did you and Luke meet?
A chance meeting 3 days after I moved to Nashville. The one person I knew in town had this guy from North Carolina staying on his couch for a weekend recording songs, and it happened to be Luke Combs. And so when he moved 5 months later, I was one of the only people that he knew. So we started hanging out. This back in 2014. So before Luke Combs is Luke Combs. And then he called me, and we kind of became fast friends and started writing songs. And it just, some things in life click. There's magic there. And that's been one of those things for us. And but talk about fate, and I don't know if you call it right place, right time, or whatever. But 3 days after I moved to Nashville, just in a chance meeting. So,
how about that? Wonderful. How many number one songs have you written?
5. This is my 5th one. So got a handful. Trying to work on the second hand now. So.
Some of these guys are going to call you. They're always looking for a country music artist, any kind of artist, always looking for the song. They want the song. So, do you get a lot of calls from the guys and gals in Nashville?
Yeah, you do. I mean, you do, and the way you get them is kind of through your publishing company, and so maybe not directly, but they'll kind of, say, "Hey, so and so needs a song like this. Let's send over this one," or hey, so and so was asking for a song that is sort of like this one over here, or sort of like this other one you wrote, and stuff like that. So, which is good to get those calls when they happen. So,
yeah, wow. I've obviously I've been to UGA football games, and you got 95,000 fans, and and it's quite an amazing thing to be a part of the crowd watching the action. What is it like to walk out on stage and you've got 30,000-40,000 people ready to listen? Do you see individuals in the crowd? I've always wondered this. Do you see individuals in the crowd, or do you just see the crowd? How do you handle that?
I would say you see, after it gets about 2,000 people, it all looks the same because it's hard to see past that anyway.
Right.
So every once in a while, maybe if the lights are right, you can see, but those spotlights are so blinding that it's really hard to see past like the first, 20, 30 rows of people. After that, it's like it's just hard to see. But you can feel the energy, I think you got to be mentally prepared to go out there and be confident in what you're doing. If not, it's real easy to lock up, or think about the crowd or the pressure, in other words, so.
Hey, is there a flow you get into? When you get out there and you get that first song out of the way, do you get into the flow of it and just feel it and deliver it?
You do. It usually takes that first or second one. And then after that, you just you're ready to go.
Cool. Well, Ray, you're from Harlem, Georgia. Tell me about you growing up in Harlem, Georgia, outside of Augusta, and a great Georgia town. Tell me about those early days.
Yeah, little one red light town outside of Augusta, and I love the Dawgs from when I was 5 years. I went to my first game, I think, when I was 10, and I was hooked then. I was absolutely hooked. And but yeah, Harlem's a little bitty town outside of Augusta, and we got Masters Week coming up, so that area feels a little more special this time of year. But I remember, going to first country music song I ever heard was going to put up deer stands with my dad, and Oceanfront Property came on the radio. And then I remember my first Georgia game. I'm pretty sure I want to say it was pretty certain it was Jim Donnan's first game back in 97, I believe it was. So the first home game of 90, I think first game of 97. So.
Wow. Ray, it's been a joy to have you on our program today and talk country music, and what a great career you have. And I know it's only going to get better and better and better. And listen, now, when I get an idea for a song, I'll zip it to you, and then maybe we can collaborate on something. You never know. You never
know.
All right, Ray. Thank you. And hey, do you ever finish a set in the concert with saying "Go Dogs"?
Absolutely.
There you go. You hang in there, brother.
Sure.
Thank you, Ray, for being with us today on our program. Okay.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.